Alright, we're picking up where we left off, and we have a whole bunch of vehicles to review today. All right here on this landing pad. Boy, oh boy, are there a bunch of them we can review. Now, I'm going to be reviewing all of the ones that I can fit inside the C2 that are ground vehicles first, and then we'll cover a lot of these aerial vehicles afterwards. So hang in there. This video is all about ground vehicles. We'll do aerial vehicles next. Let's get started. Claim the Anvil Ballista.
Has been delivered to the following location.
Alright, well, the Ballista is no slouch. It takes its job very seriously. This is a loaded to the gills. I don't take no from anybody. Little ground vehicle. This bad little boy packs a punch. Oh my gosh, the negative 60 degrees Celsius is just kicking my butt right now. Love this planet, but hate this planet. So, in the rear, you got your gunner seat. You got 10 missiles. Alien 7s. You hear that air ripping out there. But you got dual little ballistic cannons on top, and then you got your massive missile packs back here on the back. See the C2 as one of the biggest cargo carriers. Basically the only ship that can fit one of these ballista in it.
Your vehicle has been delivered. Please visit us again.
Alright, Spartan is more of just a pure transport. That one's Warbond 65, standalone 80. These three are very similar to each other. This one's just more of like a personnel mover carrier. Come on. Teeny tiny buttons. As you can see here, 3 doors. Personnel seats, door up into the cockpit. Not a whole lot else going for it.
Vehicle selected. Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location.
Same thing as the Ballista. Rear gunner seat, remote turret. Just go ahead and enter that. This one gives you 4 rhinos, so it does actually pack punch. Can do quite a bit of damage here. And the driver also has a separate weapon. Oh, and these do actually come with loaners. I think they're all like Aurora MRs. I just love how this one looks. I think it's rad. Alright, the Aopoa Nox. Alright, this is a racing vehicle. This one, it does have levitation technology. We're just going to give you just a little bit of a... It does actually have storage. I always forget about that. The Nox. It does give you 2 of the tiny size 1 guns. You actually have shields. Downside with this one is that you'll still be detected as a fighter. Oh, let's go ahead and power on. Go ahead and shut it off. It is windy today. I think that's kind of part of the problem. But you basically get some hovering here that can cause you some issues when landing in other planes. If you turn on your landing gear and just wobble your way up and around, that can work a little bit better. Once you get out and through, once you can kind of get it off the ground, it just kind of sucks at levitating. You can see you can just kind of have a field day with this thing. Always forget about the Hoverquad. Consolidated Outland is like one of those brands that I just forget exists. Now Hoverquad just for me feels like an ATV. Go ahead and enter the pilot seat. Best thing it has to offer is self-destruct. So you got power.
All systems operational.
Consolidated Outland. Hover technology, and you can see the size compared to the Nox is just much larger. You do get like better vertical thrusters, side to side thrusters. Getting where you want to go is much easier, but this one does keep you a little bit tighter to the ground. Side-by-side comparison, but it is also a lot bouncier. You get that external access to your power plant, and the landing gear is kind of wild, but that's always out. So even when you press your landing gear in and out, it just is kind of always there. Again, you're just getting kind of that consolidated Outland hover technology. Is like when I drop it down to the ground, that's as low as we're gonna get. You just go ahead and kill the power. Do the engines. And you kind of just drop the engines and it'll kind of slowly set you down on this one, but you're still never gonna quite go. So, cool ship. That one really does feel more like a ground craft, no weapons. I don't really think it's worth it.
Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location.
That's it, or are you just saying that?
Please visit.
So Dragonfly is probably the best bang for the buck. Nominally, Mountain Pilot seat. You can also fly 2 people on it. And I think whole 2,100 health, Hoverquad hull, 3,500 Nox, 1,850. So Nox has the least amount of health. Nox is going to get you 80 SCM. The Hoverquad 125. And the Dragonfly 85. So, again, Dragonfly is probably the most well-rounded of the 3. Some cool readouts on it. You can see though, much bigger than the Nox. So it definitely has some more heft to it. And then the lights are just kind of amazing. So you gotta turn those on straight up there in front. And you know, it's supposed to have like a pod racer type deal going on. You know, it's just refracting the light between. I don't know. I'm not in charge. Let's go ahead and boot up the engines. As with the others, no real landing gear one way or the other. Decent side-to-side movement. When I try to get vertical thrust, I don't go anywhere, so still just very much hovering. Decent boosting ability. Down. This one is a lot more squirrely when you're trying to drop it down, just because the front to back has a lot more length to it than the Nox does. So you're getting a lot more bounce. And the Hoverquad is much more agile from side to side. Pull it up in here, you're gonna notice it's biggest of the three by a large margin. And you can really feel that when you're flying it. So, cool ship. Totally. I think that having some of those are just fun. Well, what do I spend money on them? I have in the past, actually. Getting those Aurora MR loaners is actually a great way to kind of start the game. Can't buy them as starter packages. I kind of wish you could pledge them as starter packages. That would be honestly kind of rad, but that is what it is. I guess if you pledged like a Mustang and then upgraded into a Nox, you could totally do that. And then you have your Aurora and your woohoo, the Drake Mule. Oh, this is your little cargo bad boy. I actually love driving one of these things. You can go ahead and fit one SU of cargo right there in the back, clips in. You've got some little smaller cargo boxes you can fit onto the sides. And it's just kind of genuinely a fun time to drive. Get that power plant kick in. And it's like very maneuverable, pretty easy to drive around. Definitely better than a Ballista. Not as nice as these hovercraft, but you know, you can't have everything you want in life. I love how that front door opens up. Really cool little totem goat. Alright, we'll go ahead and grab a PTV. $15 standalone, originally $7.50. Like just like a little dune buggy kind of thing. You do technically get like a 75K. SCU, Muskew. Muskew. I think that's what I'm gonna call it for now. Right, you get no readout with this thing because like you just driving your little golf cart around. Careful rolling it. Nice, it flips back over again. But yeah, Greycat rocking one of these things. You see comparison. This is one of the smallest ground vehicles that you can drive around. I'm gonna give you a comparison to the Mule. Mule is actually quite small. It just looks big. It's kind of tall. But the PTV is kind of just your little ground craft. This thing fits in all kinds of vehicles. So, you know. It's a thing, and you can hop out of it like you're in a Jeep. So you take the Steve 2. Articles. Come on, stop bouncing around. You can open it up, look inside. I think you can fit something inside of there. It's just bumping and jumping. Your external storage. And then you've got a dual storage bay to carry around two of the small containers, like a helmet and stuff like that. So anyway, it technically has more capabilities than the Steve or the PTV, but just personally don't understand this purpose for existing. Actually, let's go ahead and show you everything that comes up here on the ship, just so you can get a sense of how much you can open up and check out. We'll go ahead and open up that front a little bit, but since we're in third person, we can drive with the hatch open, because why not? But because it's a little bit bigger, you actually get a little bit more with it. Like it drives a little smoother, very similar to the Mule. in size and in how it feels to drive. You can push people around if you want. It's got a giant tire on it that you can imagine how fun it would be to replace the tire. I've had other ROC videos before. But here you go, Greycat ROC. Big, she's beautiful, and she exists. The ROC is worth, if you're ever gonna like buy or invest into a ground vehicle, I can understand why you would get the ROC. The ROC-DS, on the other hand, ugh. You just, it takes up more room. It's got 6 wheels. You gotta be able to fit it around places. It doesn't fit in a lot of things. I think you have to go all the way up to a Freelancer Max to fit it. I just don't get the ROC-DS. Just get individual ROCs. There's no real reason to get the DS. Alright, so when you get into the ROC-DS, you're gonna go ahead and slide it to the front. Very similar to the ROC. Like it's like virtually identical except for your little side seat that you have over here, or your buddy you don't like very much. It's been relegated to loser duty. Go ahead and get inside. Now you can come around, you can enter mining mode. Weapons are locked apparently. It does move and groove. You can get going on this thing. Oh, no. Can't remember what thing activates. The baby seat pops down. Swing around inside of it. It's gonna lift you up. I'm like, I get it. You're not technically like shielded or anything in this deal, but oh, it's rough. Let's see if it wants to activate mining. Nope. No such luck today. Not even letting me like switch modes or anything. Like in terms of concept, it's still a cool vehicle. So there you go.
Has been delivered to the
tomorrow. Alright, the Lynx. Traveling in style. So, you might have seen me go through this on the show floor, but you can basically sit down, relax, hear your fancy dancy customers. It says open now. Just open the door. I don't. Very strange. You do get a pair of 2 M3As, one top-mounted turret, and the turret will like retract down as you turn off your weapons power systems. So really cool design that way, where you can be like, no, we're in a friendly zone, and you can activate it, pull it up. That beautiful kind of like rear canopy design. It's not super fast, it's not super slow. It sounds super cool to drive. Is it worth it for the Aurora MR? I don't think either of these is worth buying, to be honest. They are cool ships. And then you've got a ramp back, or Ursa where you dump Lynx. Jump seats where it would kind of just swing out of here and come slinging. I'm not even really going to take this for much of a drive here. Go ahead and boot it on. You can see you're presented with a much different level of class and sophistication. And then you have that side-scrolling little weapon as well. Go ahead and tuck that away, back out. But decent size. Go ahead and put away all the doors. Cool little ship. Go ahead and start up the engine. This one can actually kind of go over lights. Just to give you a flavor for how these fit inside. C2, plenty of space. Inside a constellation, it's going to be a lot closer together. Oh, come on, right over it. There we go. These feel like the homage to Mass Effect's ground vehicle. Oh, which is the name of it, which is totally escaping me right now, and I feel like a loser as a nerd not being able to do that. And you can tell, just in terms of Class 1, very much looks like it's made for posh executives. The other one looks like it's made for jackbooted thugs. Just need the C2, but the A2 and the M2 as well. The tank is freaking cool. You can go ahead and use these in what's it called? Here's an arena commander. Stuff with this thing. Total riot. Put those away. You got 2 little combat seats. Piloting. Just won't pilot me sit inside of them. Horrible sight lines. Got like little launched missiles and then 2 smaller guns. The pilot controls the Slayer and the missiles, 24 of them. So yeah, it moves like a freaking boat. That this is faster than walking, and just going up hills like its own deal. Okay, there we go. Now we're rocking and rolling a little bit. All right. find out who's naughty or nice. Tumbril Storm is coming to town. Let's go ahead and activate those missiles. Cameras. Alright, dual badgers. So you get kind of a panoply of vehicle damage and weapons options in the Storm. Definitely something in the game that deserves to exist and is necessary if we're going to start actually having ground functioning. Let's see if we can. Or Drake Mule. I can let me target, but let's see if we can get it anyway. Come up just a little. Now, compared in size, it's not that much bigger than the Ballista, but you have to remember how big the Ballista was. You're trying to fit it up inside of here. So, size is just quite large. I don't know if it's the wind, but it is paint. You gotta be careful driving one of these. This fits in just barely. We're scraping the ceiling. So Tumbril and Crusader are matches made in heaven. Like you're basically replacing that fixed cannon with more of a fixed laser. I feel bad. I do like how the track pattern works. You enter here, you got the weapons rack. I'm glad they've added in. I'm not 100% sure what that's supposed to be, but well, I guess. And this is going to be access to your systems, I'm guessing. Yep. All around a cool layout design. Pilot canopy. Alright, so the pilot seat kind of just drops down. I really like this. I'm glad that they're doing this with at least a couple of ground vehicles. Man, the item name. It's not even like a name weapon. Man, she is a boss looking vehicle. Get those side openings. Kind of missed those before, but a few other components that go kind of on each of the wheels. It's kind of rad. And is that one just like a general? Oh, it's got something else there too, but I do kind of wish that looks more like your weapon rack. like the tracks should just take me up at any speed over any obstacle kind of thing, and I dislike that they do not work that way. I appreciate what they were attempting to accomplish here, but right now I just kind of want to drive my tank around. There we go. I think the idea behind this one is it's like more maneuverable, so you should be able to kind of move it around yourself, but come on, man. Oh, remote turret, here we go. Alright, now I get more control. Just a little details on the weapons. This is a rain-free repeater. The 1 size 3. So, not bad in terms of damage, but not the same as the others. I mean, that massive cannon is definitely worth its weight in gold in other ways. So you just compared to Nova, we're quite a bit smaller here. Alright, rounding this out, we have Tumbril Storm AA, just to show that one. It's just a different weapon. This one's angled. No, I don't want this. Purely and fully launching missiles out of this missile launching launch case. I think it needs like at least a ground weapon to kind of just keep you with, but each their own. It looks cool. I'll give it that much.
All right, it's Gun Gaming from the future, and I had to go buy all of these because when I recorded it before, it just was only my web page, like my web browser, not the actual chips. But we've got a couple other things to add, so this ended up being an even better ground vehicle review than I thought it was going to be. Got some great B-roll so far, so if you're still watching, many appreciations. But let's get into the Tumbril Cyclone. You can see all the buying options on the RSI webpage, but I think the biggest thing to kind of show you here is you're going to have the Cyclone, the TR, which is a combat-focused one, the RC, which is racing, the RN, which is recon, the AA, which is anti-aircraft, and the MT, which is assault. And if we flip over to our handy-dandy Star Citizen tools, you're going to see a few other things here. You get embedded jump jets that give you thrusting, gun rack, external storage, but really you get one SCU cargo here, and then we're just going to open up and kind of flip through these. The AA is going to give you 0 storage. The MT is going to give you 0. I think it's the same for all of these, but just going through to check. The RC, which like forgoes weapons, still has 0, 0, 0. Now, one weird thing on Urkel, it doesn't actually show any of your weapons, which is a little annoying, even with the AA, even with the MT. So it might just be that you're locked in and you can't swap it out, but I do wish that it would like show it and then just show it as locked. That's a little frustrating to me. That is what it is. One important thing that you need to know on all of this, though, you do get an Aurora. I believe it's an MR. For all of these, yes, you're getting an Aurora MR. This was an ES, but an Aurora MR base pledge value is $30, 25 war bond. So when you're buying any and all of these variants, the base variant is 50 war bond. You're basically paying 20 bucks for a ground vehicle and getting an Aurora MR. Now, this is why I don't ever recommend spending real world money, because they have to inflate the value of land vehicles, and I've talked about this with the other ones. But the reason why they're inflating all the values of land vehicles is because you're getting a $30 pledge with it. For me, I think the Tumbril Cyclone is one of the worst vehicles you can get. So let's flip you over and show you why. All right, somebody parked a Cuddy Black here, and I've got a Freelancer, so we're going to be looking at kind of the smaller ones. Okay, you've got a side-by-side seat. This is where you can stick that one SU of cargo, which again, it's not the worst. You use the control panel, and you get that as like a little block down. We'll track that. And we'll open everything up. Nothing else opening other than just that rear little hatch, which is fine. And you'll see the thing moves and grooves, but not having any pilot controlled weapons is kind of a deal breaker for me personally. And this is kind of the maximum speed you're going to get. So for me, in terms of what I would recommend, this isn't it. I mean, if you want to bring one other person with you, just save the money and get a Steve, or even go cheaper and get a PTV. There's no, I don't see the purpose in getting one of these when you can just buy an Aurora MR for so cheap in game. But if it's like, no, I really want an Aurora MR, then like on some level I kind of get it. If you get it just right, you can fit it into a Freelancer, but you really gotta hug it, and then eventually you gotta get out of the seat, which is gonna just like pop you out somewhere not always predictable. But there you go. There's a Nox here already. So just to kind of compare, you're looking at about the same size and width. Just get 2 Noxes. Oh, the Cyclone AA. So kind of these, I think it's just 2 missiles that are showing, but I think that there are more additional missiles in it. Again, this is where Urkel would be really helpful. But if the Star Citizen tools is also going to give you the readouts, although it does tell you no weaponry or utility items present. So I don't know. Like weapon system priority there. I always have to remember that I have to like need to change my key bindings in order to drive. So the AA costs a ridiculous $80 standalone for 2 missiles. Were they high when they recommended that price? I don't. It's honestly beyond me. Now the MT is the combat variant. We're gonna hop over and look at this one. For me, this was basically their ploy of being like, hey, you all like Halo, right? We'll just make the Warthog. And so this one feels a lot more like the Warthog. The MT comes with missiles and a gun, and it runs you 75 standalone. So and you get 4 missiles. So I don't really understand. And you could probably actually like fit something up in there, but you get a turret gunner, right? So somebody does have to drive it, but it's not like I was able to target with the missiles. Anyway, for me, like the green, like the whole motif of this is very Spartan, but very Halo, right? Okay, let's go ahead and power on. The displays here feel slightly different. I don't know why. I think it's that like carbon fiber rim that you have here, but you can see this is just a much better. Like if I was gonna buy one in game, this is the one that I would buy. I also find it annoying that the real world dollar difference is so stark, going from 55 to 75 with these models. But nothing really changing, right? So let's get this out of here ways. You can see you can like kind of get this thing up to speed. All right, so you get longsword. good ballistic cannon that'll... Maybe we could try to like jump on him. Thinks there's a seat here. Let's see if when we go to the... You do get some storage here. That's it. Very odd. Not being able to swap out the longsword for ballistic for a laser repeater is a little frustrating to me, but you can make it work. Right, you can see here kind of geometry is very similar, but the colors are different, and then you're getting that whole rear section attached with something else. Do I wish, truthfully, that this was more like a Hornet, where you could attach whatever package you wanted to it? Yes, I do. Like, it would be cool to have a modular interface system like that for ground vehicle, but appreciate and understand that's not what they want. We'll go for the RC. This is the racing variant. Sponsored by Kovalex and Meridian Transit. So you can see you've exchanged that rear area for, I guess, a bigger engine. We'll take it out for a little spin. Let's see if this gives us some nitrous boost. Oh, boost on shift. Those canisters look like they would be nitrous, but they're not. This feels substantially different to the MT to me. Like maybe more of a bigger top speed, but that's about it. The drift is fun to do. The geometry of hitting and crawling rocks is still a little wonky, but you can certainly do some fun like four-wheel bouldering with these. In case buying a Jeep or a Ford Bronco is just a little too much for you in your real life, at least you can get it on with in video game with one of these Cyclones, and you know, that's a totally viable life choice for you to make. Just not one that I would ever make. For $65 standalone, $55 pledge. All right, light reconnaissance, the RN. Honestly, I don't understand its purpose in life. This is just a gameplay loop that just doesn't actually exist yet, and they've just created so many dedicated values to this. Vehicles, not values. So many dedicated vehicles to this. Still nothing, and I don't think you can use... I don't think it's like a scanning thing you can really do from the cockpit. Or refuses to turn for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, that one's certainly a choice you can make. But not one I would make personally. Alright, lastly, the TR. This one is for militia use. I think this one, big difference, is it's a little cheaper, only $65 instead of $75. And you're getting that much more restrained the Gatling gun here, also controlled as a turret. So if you want to take a buddy out, make sure you get one with the turret. Oh, and I don't have any power, so. Oh. Okay. So a similar kind of gun. I'm not going to take this one out to go shoot it. Getting a very similar turret. This one just doesn't have missiles. But considering that the other The MT requires you to sit in the passenger seat in order to shoot the missiles, and you can't actually sit in the passenger seat. I don't see much purpose to that. That's your look right there. Start the engines, maybe. Oh, we can turn in this one, just not the RN. I don't know, man. These seem to be very bugged right now. I don't think I would be recommending these on any level. And by I don't think I would, that's an affirmative. I would not be recommending these on any level. Let's go ahead. I do think if you're going to get one, you probably will want a cutlass, because you need to be able to pull it all the way in. A little easier to do here. And the one nice thing of the cutlass over the Freelancer is that you're going to have a little bit more space to get out of your vehicles on the sides. Downside of the cutlass is you have this, like, the turret is in the middle here instead of just chambered up above. So you can't do as long of containers, right? So, like, I wish that the turret was just one you climbed into, like right here, and shifted the beds over to this side, and then you could bump it back and be able to put longer 32 SKU containers, like these longer big ones that you're seeing right here. You can't fit those into a cutlass. So there's pros and cons to each of those layouts, but for driving vehicles, that's definitely the better choice. Okay, that wraps up the Tumbril Cyclones. Again, none of them are things I would recommend, but if you were gonna get one, it would probably be that TR variant, unless you wanted some missiles or the longsword, a weapon armament. I just don't see a whole lot of a purpose in it. We are going to cover now the X1 series, and since the time of filming, for whatever reason, it wouldn't let me buy them at New Deal. So it might be that they're no longer available at New Deal. Maybe these are only available at Crusader Showroom. I genuinely don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why it is that way, but we're going to cover them.
Vehicle retrieval system. Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location.
All right, if any of you have watched me for a while, you know that I'm a sucker for Origin and Crusader. I just think they're gorgeous, and I think that beauty matters to me in this way. My brother-in-law, on the other hand, is a huge fan of Drake. So, you know, like, it's purely preferential. But I love how the X1 looks, and I'm a big fan of the Force, which I'll get into in a minute. But you're looking at 5.5 meters length, 1.25 meters width, 1.5 meters height. It is very small. It fits into a lot of tight corners. It's a really cool ship generally. And then you're looking at the X1 standalone, $45. You can get the wraps, paints, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? And you can buy that with credits. The promotion ended originally for the ship. And then if we come over here, you can also see at 0 cargo SCU, which makes sense. It's technically a snub, size 1, XX small. You get an Aurora MR loaner. So this is, and then the standalone price is $45. It's like, why buy a Tumbril when you can just buy an X1? I don't know. I can't answer that for you. So, big differences between these ones. The X1 is going to come with an M3A laser cannon, 306 sustained DPS, burst 375. Not a ton of damage. If you're looking to do a lot of damage, this ain't it. But you are going to get a power plant, a cooler, and I thought that you got a shield, but I think you might only get the shield in the Force. I thought it says extra shield, but I think extra just means a shield. So you're going to get that shield here in the Force, and that's what's going to come with the Bulldog. 179 DPS, the burst is 225. So, you know, I might change this out. You get 57 ammos this way. I might go for like an attrition, but that's still only one. So, you know, honestly, with the current meta, I would probably keep this one to M3A. I think that might just makes the most sense. But, you know, you can, whatever floats your boat. It's not like you're doing a ton of damage. And the Velocity doesn't have any weapons, doesn't have any shields. It's just a little bit faster. I think SCM speed 296. Or sorry, 216, boost speed forward 296, 160, 550 nav max speed, and then the Force is 205, 285, 160, 550. So your boost speed forward is 205 versus 285, and 216, 296. So it's like 11 meters per second faster. So, I mean, that's pretty substantial, to be honest. That's like a 5% increase. But it is a 5% increase. So, you know, do with that what you will. The force to pledge is $55. So, again, I'm not somebody who pledges ground vehicles. But if you just wanted it every patch and you also wanted an Aurora MR, hey, you know, who am I to judge you? Now, for some reason, I could not buy the X1 or the X1 Velocity. I don't care to, if we're being honest with each other. I would just wanted to get them to show you guys. If it's like, please, Gun Gaming, go find them. I need to see them in a video. I will go do that for you, but I just showed you all of the Tumbril Cyclones. This is the only one I want to really get in, and I've saved what I think is the best for me for last. I'm so glad that it's out now. Man, being able to open it and to see that the power, to watch it like slide that back, man, it just is, it's just pretty. Like it's just cute. I just like it. And then you can open the other components here. Looks like maybe, I don't know, life support or something. This should be able to also open up that fuel nozzle. Maybe that's just already ready to go. Man, I would love to have them just do something ever so slightly bigger that had a quantum drive. That was just like a little ship I could keep on a freelancer and be able to get in however I want. I love how you get into it. Feels like I'm getting into a DeLorean, but in like an even more futuristic way. I love how your legs just sit down underneath, but are still protected by the ship itself. Let's go ahead and open up all those doors. You can see the entire profile of the ship. Very beautiful. All right, bringing it in. Let's go ahead, close all those doors. Start up the ship. You're gonna see shields are down. You've got targeting computer here. I wish that this targeting menu was up a little higher. Like I wish it was their origin. So they're still floating MFDs. If you do not have Toby, you can't see your target. So I wish that it was up just a little, like I wish it straddled that screen just a little bit, like that this was just pulled up. So the midpoint of that target screen was right at kind of the where the glass meets the actual rest of the ship. I also appreciate that this is like a wind visor. Kind of just wish that it covered my entire head. Especially since I'm kind of like back inside a crevice anyway. I just wish it was like a full canopy. But yeah, this very much is the motorcycle. So you are getting some buttons down here, looks like. You get your engine on, open exterior, power off. It looks like all of these, now the light, target, and weapons are not working, nor is self-destruct. Okay, I would love to see those actually become functional buttons on a brand new ship. It's a little weird that they're not when some of those buttons work on other ships. I just don't know why they do that. Okay, let's take it for a spin, shall we? Just rotates and then starts to hover. There are no landing gear. If I push it into a landing mode by holding N, nothing happens. I should be able to fly this with joysticks as opposed to the land vehicles that you can't. Oh, you get a boost. Oh, I think I just lost my weapons. Let's see. Yeah, that just clean broke off. And drop down, and then it's going to put you gently back down. I mean, I kind of want to go find it, but I think it's too big to pick up. I might as well go look. Oh man, being able to go so fast is genuinely cool. Okay, now you should be able to actually swap over here between nav modes and SCM modes. Oh, well, turns out it'll kill you. It'll definitely get you. All right, well, I will say that's something about the levitation aircraft that you do have to be a little bit more cautious about. I hope all of you enjoyed this video. I think my summary would be this. If you want a ground vehicle, wait to get a ground vehicle when it gets released as a special. The Pulse is a really good example that just came out at Invictus. Pulse costs $25 LTI. You're getting a $30 ship that costs $25 War Bond for free with it in the Aurora MR. So, you know, if you just like wanted a side Aurora MR, you want an LTI vehicle that you can use to trade up to a different vehicle later on, great. I actually really like the Pulse. In a choice between the Pulse and the X1, I would probably choose the X1 Force just because you get the shield. And I think that that's worth it, actually. The shields matter right now. Shields are very meta. Yeah, it's going to give you so much more survivability with a shield. So that would be my choice between the two of those. But in terms of spending actual real world money, I would definitely buy the Pulse because you can just buy the other one so cheap in game. It really is just a function of, do you have the patience to wait to claim your vehicle in game or not? Hope to see all of you out there in the verse. Until then, good luck out there. Have some fun. Keep on gaming. Bye for now.